While the Browns players go into the locker room, we're going to go into the national perspective. And we've got a great group for you. Chris Rose, Joe Thomas, and Andrew Hawkins. It is our national perspective brought to you by Global Transport.
Nathan, thank you very much. We are all prepped and ready tonight for basically what's going to look like a game. And so I ask you, Joe Thomas, where's your jersey? I mean, Hawks are wearing ours. What is this?
You know, I didn't get the issue gear, but I still am repping Steve's Hot Dogs, a Cleveland institution, a great place in Cleveland if you've never checked it out.
Always an advertisement with this guy.
I get no benefit from pumping Steve's Hot Dogs except to let you guys know, because I love you so much, that you're missing out on the world's greatest hot dogs if you haven't been there.
Exactly what a spokesman would say. All right, continue, Chris. I apologize.
I'm not getting paid.
Thank you there, Big Cheese. All right, guys, what are you most looking forward to tonight? Andrew Hawkins.
Yeah, I want to see the offense mesh. I mean, the first scrimmage, there were a couple of hiccups there, and, that's to be expected, obviously, with, the receivers on a pitch count, not really going live in the running game, and, Austin Hooper also in and out. I want to see them mesh a little bit more a little early on, right? I want to get the running game going, really use those tight ends, and get a real feel for what it's going to be like during the season, because I feel like that's an important part of this scrimmage tonight.
Yeah, for me, the magic word for tonight is smooth. And it's exactly what Andrew said, right? They need to smooth out all the little errors that they've been making up to this point in training camp. No procedural penalties. They need to be able to get in and out of the huddle, make sure that there's no substitution errors on offense. And I want to see Baker to continue to progress and show that he's making big strides in his decision-making from where he was last year. On Sunday, in the last time that they practiced really intensely at the stadium, Baker did a really nice job deciding when to throw the football away, when to take the dump down to the running back, when to hit his tight ends. And that really shows a progression in his understanding of when to take those chances down the field and when to just take the safe play, get the ball to Kareem Hunt, get the ball in Nick Chubb's hands, let them get you 5 yards and go and live for another play, another down. So really just continuing to watch Baker's progression and watching the smoothness of that offense.
All right, guys, I hate to say this, but we're less than 24 hours away from cutdown day. And this year it's harder than any season because there are no preseason games. I mean, this is basically it tonight. So you got to get down to 53. Give me one guy out there, Joe Thomas, that you're keeping your eyes on tonight.
Yeah, I want to watch Donovan Olumba, the great Portland State Viking cornerback. He's a big cornerback. He's had a really nice training camp so far. And the reason I mentioned that name is because just in a few days, the Browns are going to be traveling to Baltimore. And they got this guy who's pretty good named Lamar Jackson. But one thing I know about Lamar Jackson, the Achilles heel, is if you have a secondary full of big guys that can tackle, you can play zone coverage so you can keep your eye on your man, but you can also keep your eye in the backfield for that quarterback. That's a way to kind of contain the running quarterback a little bit. And I think that if you keep him around and he continues to progress, he can provide you a big weapon when you're game planning for those really good running quarterbacks like Lamar Jackson. So I'm definitely going to be keeping my eye on him tonight because I think the Browns could have some big plans with him in their game plan, thinking about the Ravens being the favorites in the AFC North, not the Big Ten.
Did you almost called it the Big Ten?
I almost said the Big Ten because I'm a little excited. There were some rumors about the Big Ten maybe coming back, but it's the AFC North.
Joe, fun fact for you about Donovan Olumba. Do you know who his cornerback coach was?
Andrew Hawkins.
False. Close. Avery Hawkins. Andrew Hawkins' older brother was his cornerback coach at Alderson Broaddus University before Olumba played so well that he transferred up to Portland State. And now he is on the brink of being a Cleveland Brown. So I am with you 110%. Been watching that kid since he was a freshman or sophomore in college. Big kid, late bloomer, but really came into his own, and he is hungry about the game. So what you're seeing from him now is actually still a raw project. He is still really coming to his own as a cornerback, man. But he's a special talent, and I couldn't agree with you more. I'm going to give you another player to watch out for. And by player, I mean multiple. And I'm going with every receiver behind Jarvis Landry and OBJ. That number 3 spot is still not solidified yet. So for tonight, this is a big opportunity for a lot of those receivers. You talked about it, Chris. No preseason games. So you're going to have to make these decisions off of these kind of big moments that you've tried to elevate above the regular practice that they've been going through. You know, for a guy like me, I probably wouldn't have been in the NFL without preseason games. For all these other receivers, tonight is a big moment, from the Hodges to the Higgins to JoJo Natson, Donovan Peoples-Jones, you name it. These guys have an opportunity to step up, make some big plays today, and make the coaches and the rest of the offense feel really good about who that number 3 and potentially number 4 receivers are.
All right, 9 days from now, the Browns will be in Baltimore to take on the 2-time defending AFC North, not the Big Ten, but the AFC North champion, Baltimore Ravens. Now, let's remember, last time they were there, Browns probably played their best game of the year, 40-25 winners, had 530 total yards. They moved up and down the field. They did enough to force 3 turnovers, etc. What are your expectations, Joe Thomas, for opening day?
Well, it's a tough way to open the Kevin Stefanski era. Obviously, the Ravens were, in the regular season last year, probably the best team in the NFL. When you have a shortened offseason like we dealt with COVID, the teams that have that experience, that have been together, that have been in that offense, been in that defense for a long time, have the biggest advantage. And so the Browns are behind the 8 ball, and they're going against a team that was really hot last year until they stubbed their toe a little bit in the playoffs. So it's going to be an uphill battle, especially going to Baltimore, the number 2 offense in the league last year, the number 4 defense. So it's definitely going to be a big test. But I think here's where the Browns can win this game, right? If they can start running the football efficiently, if they have Nick Chubb and he's going to average over 5 yards a carry, I think they can play good enough defense to limit that Ravens offense and to be able to control the football, play kind of small ball, limit the number of possessions. They've got an opportunity to keep it a low-scoring game. And then if they can make 4 or 5 big plays in the passing game, which this offense is going to be set up well to make, Kevin Stefanski, when he's running the football, is going to be really good at setting up that play-action pass. We've got a great down-the-field threat with OBJ. We can hit our tight ends. So if we can make 4 or 5 big plays in the passing game and we can run the ball effectively, shorten the number of possessions in a game, I think we're going to have a chance when it comes down to that fourth quarter. And it's going to be kind of who has the football last, who can kick that field goal or get into the end zone to win that football game.
Yeah, I agree with everything you're saying, Joe. I mean, I know this camp, we have such a star-studded offense that typically seems to be the topic of everything we always talk about. But this is going to come down to the defense. I think they're up for the challenge early on, and it bodes well because what's going to happen early in the season, because there's no preseason game, offenses are going to be a little slow to start. That typically happens. So I think that actually gives an advantage to our defense because they typically get out to a faster start when there is limited reps in the form of games or preseasons or playing against other teams. So I'm hoping we can take advantage of the slow start we expect from the Ravens as well. And this defense can really contain this run, man. Because if they can contain the run or at least mitigate it from what we've seen a year ago, there is a big opportunity because our running game is also really well. We have so many weapons on offense. Probably the best offensive weapons in the National Football League.
All right, finally, Andrew Hawkins, you're Ivy League educated. Joe Thomas, you know where most of the Ivy League schools are. How do you guys feel about a pop quiz?
Wisconsin, it's the heart of the Midwest.
Here we go.
Let me fail.
I'll put it on the blackboard or the whiteboard.
Here we go.
The Browns will make the playoffs
Whew.
if
they win the division. This is easy.
Look at that. He did get a 4.0 from an Ivy League school. It was in underwater basket weaving, yes, but it was still 4.0.
They don't call me the water genius for nothing, Joe.
Here's what it is for me. If Nick Chubb averages 4.5 yards per carry at the end of the season, they will make the playoffs because that is the formula for success in this Kevin Stefanski offense. The run sets up the big plays on offense. That's where you get your scores in this offense is those big chunk plays, whether that be the running game or play action, throw the football down the field to OBJ or one of your tight ends. If they run the football, they can make those big plays in the passing game. If they're not running the football very effectively, they're not going to be able to do anything. So it all comes down to that 4.5 yards per carry or above for Nick Chubb.
I'm going to go with if Baker Mayfield throws less than 13 interceptions this year, they will be a playoff team. If he can control those possessions, so those one possessions in games matter so much. If he can limit the interceptions, that means the running game is working. That means he is on fire as a quarterback. Then I think they will make the playoffs in 2020.
All right, smart guy. You gave me a smart aleck answer when you said they'll make the playoffs if they win the division. Another pop quiz. The last time the Browns won the division, what year was that?
Joe, take it away.
Was it 1994?
No, they made the playoffs that year.
They won a playoff game in 94.
Yep. Steelers in the division that year.
89.
Yes! 80.
Oh, Hawk.
Bingo! Bingo.
Very nicely done.
From
That's why
deep.
we pay him the big bucks.
That's right. All right, guys. Well, enjoy tonight's festivities. Joe, hopefully you'll get that brown shirt in the mail sometime in the near future. And I like relish and ketchup on my dog. Okay.
I appreciate it. Yeah, the UPS, it's been real slow these days. I don't know. I think Hawk is intentionally slowing things down.
All right, let's send
It's
it
always
back to
me.
Big Dog, Nathan.